Hello everyone, welcome to Knowledge Valley. My name is Why So Serious, and the topics for today's discussion are: first, we will talk about India US relations, and these relations are specifically or more leaned towards the defense relations. Then, the next topic, important topic that we're going to discuss, is about stubble burning and its related issues, and also a new revolutionary technology that has been proposed. So let us begin with our first topic, which is India US relations, and this is more specific to defense relations. So, first we need to begin from here. What is the current context and why are we talking about India US relations and specifically defense relations? So, recently we know that the non virtual 2 plus 2 ministerial dialogue was conducted between the two countries. 2 plus 2 here denotes two important officials from both the nations, India and US. From India, we know that our Minister of Defense and Minister of Finance had represented, whereas similar posts in USA, their respective secretaries of defense and finance departments had represented US. And this is also really significant because it was non virtual. So it shows the gravitas and the importance of this meeting. Now we need to know a bit about the background of the defense relations between the both nations, or relations in general, and more specifically we'll see some points related to defense. So we must first see that in 1960, if we try to begin in the 1960 phase, there was Indochina War. At that point of time, USA couldn't extend help to us. And then the 66 phase, this was the phase when India US relations were not at the best. And also the food grains that we used to import from USA had decreased the number of food grains, or they had decreased the quality as well as the quantity of food grains that they exported to us, and it was a blessing in disguise for us because this was an eye-opening experience for us, and we came out with the importance of green revolution. Then we can see that our our first ever nuclear test in the Indira Gandhi regime, and then the coming of NSG in response to that. So this 1974 talks about that. This also had impact on India-US relations because of our usage of nuclear testing. 91 was a positive and a new kind of sunrise for the relations because it led to kick lighter proposal, and this proposal led to the three services in our defense to cooperate with each other. Now then again, this in brief, they are telling that in the 1990s what used to happen is USA was aligned with Pakistan. They both were good allies, whereas India was more aligned towards its policy of non-alignment movement, which is not aligned with any specific superpower or any specific ideology. But then subsequently in 98 we performed our second major nuclear tests. This led to the deterioration of relations because USA got really angry. Our relations uh, hit the rock bottom, which means our relations worsened most during this nuclear test, post this nuclear test. And then USA also imposed certain economic sanctions in response to our nuclear test. And then many things happened, but rather than knowing everything in detail, we should know crux of it. In 2008, this tussle, or this USA being angry on India due to this nuclear test came to a standstill, or it was decreased with the civil nuclear deal which was signed between the both countries in 2008. So, in a nutshell, the key points we should know between both the nations, and especially most of the points here are related to defense. The last one is from the economic point of view. Uh, what we can begin from, so what was our focus, and when our relations began to become better, we focused on joint exercises, then intelligence exchanges. We'll see further names of various agreements that we have signed that shows the intensity and the good quality of our defense relations. Then multinational operations, we've been engaging in many multinational operations, one of them being Quad, and many such. Then disaster relief and humanitarian assistance, we have together worked on this part. And of course, when India began seeing very fast economic growth, especially in the first 2 decades of the 21st century, our growth rate was almost nearing to 7% per year annually. And also our bilateral, so USA found that we were a good market, and they were very much aware of our economic growth. And also then subsequently our bilateral trade began increasing, and in 2018 our bilateral trade reached to a very high amount of $140 billion. Now what we can see here, so we got a glimpse of the background and the crux of it. Now what we need to focus upon is the bipartisan consensus. Bipartisan consensus in simple words means how both the parties mutually agreed or came to a consensus, and how we both took a common path after initial differences, which we saw in the recent background check. So what happened is, this terms and this keywords we can use here is from estranged democracies to natural allies. So how both the democracies were not really going along well in the beginning decades, but now we see that the relations have only gotten deeper and deeper. Now next, so the agreements that I was talking about, which are really important that depict our defense relations, the intensity of our good defense relations, is the very recent one being BECA. This talks about, or this is important because we are going to exchange geospatial information with each other, which holds a lot of strategic importance. Then LEMUA, this is related to change of logistics support. Then GSOMIA, that is an agreement regarding military information that we're going to share with each other. And then COMCASA, of course, where a common encryption standards of communication system was permitted, and this will further help us communicate better and especially exchange critical information related to military and security. Now what next we need to see is how and when did really, or what led really to both the countries going so good in the recent years was, so any relation, the author talks about that how any relationships has two kind of factors, push factors and pull factors, and when both the factors converge, then it leads to convergence of interest. So when convergence of interest takes place, that is when the relations between two parties further deepens. And we see here how Quad was initially formed in, so the example here of convergence of interests is Quad was formed in 2007, but later on it began fading out. Not much interest was shown neither by USA nor by India in the Quad grouping. But then recently we see how its importance is only and only increasing, especially in the current month and in the previous month. Also, we were invited, India was invited for the first time to attend Five Eyes, which is nothing but a signals intelligence grouping since the 1940s. And Five Eyes, so the 5 countries that are part of this grouping are USA, UK, New Zealand, Canada, and Australia. And since it's a signal intelligence grouping, it is very important from military and intelligence and security point of view. And inviting India to this is a good sign. Then one thing that the author talks about is policies as prisoners of labels. What he means by prisoners of labels is, we when we take a label, we stick around with it irrespective of whether it is benefiting our nation or not in our international policy. For example, what they say is, initially our prime minister chalked the idea of non-alignment movement. But in 1971, we itself didn't stick to it when our relations with USSR began uh, getting better and better. So this shows that we were slightly aligning towards one of the ideologies or one of the superpowers. Then post that in the 80s and 90s again we came back to our NAM policy, and then post Cold War era, although we stick to strategic autonomy, we previously also saw in one of the articles, but again strategic autonomy is also being considered as NAM 2.0 or the second version of NAM. So this label of using non-alignment, it is also bringing some kind of skepticism in USA, because we have always tried to or always depicted that we are non-aligned to anybody. So then it's natural that one country might not really be very friendly with us or not completely trust us, because we say that we are non-aligned one day and then another day we might agree with ideas and with the policies of one country and then another. So that is also led to our led to slow growth of our relations, but then certainly we know that the relations have got only better and better. Now in the way forward, it's simply what words we can use is what it's a common thing and we can use in any country, that mutual respect and trust is what is needed. And we saw how the curse of labels, or when we stick or the prisoners of labels that we use in our policy making, we should not do that, and change our policies, change the labels according to the demands of the world at that point of time, and also accepting differences of each other. So this was about the India-US relations, especially about the defense relations. Now the next topic is an interesting one and a very common topic, which is stubble burning, and this new technology, PUSAP USA. So we'll see what it is. Now the meaning of stubble burning, the word itself says that whenever uh, the farmers harvest a crop, the remaining stubble or the straws in the farms, so what they do is they burn it to get rid of it quickly. So stubble burning, was this always in practice? Here what they say is, before 1980s stubble burning was not a lot in practice. What farmers used to do is they used to till, or they used to mix the existing straw or the stubble with the with the soil and let it decompose. But what happened is, stubble burning is a product of green revolution. So here we see a clearly negative uh, consequence of green revolution. What happened because of green revolution was, it focused more on two crops, which was wheat and rice, so the amount of stubble getting generated increased exponentially. Secondly, what happened is, in the harvest of one crop and the sowing of the next crop, there was very less time, there was only time of 25 days. So in such less time, a speedy and low cost solution to farmers was simply burning the stubble. So this is how stubble burning became the norm. It was a product of, or a bad child of, green revolution, we can say. Now talking about some specific impacts, and especially very clearly it has poor environmental impacts. For example, it releases harmful gases such as nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, and we know many times we hear about the smog and smoke blankets being created in the Indo-Gangetic region, especially the capital region Delhi. So this is nothing but this has only led to more and more air pollution. And a very shocking statistic in the TERI report was given that air pollution in 2019, especially in Delhi and the northern region, was more than 20 times the normal standards that are acceptable according to WHO, which is very grave if we see. It is almost fatal. Also, air pollution, a very clear negative environmental impact. Another negative environmental impact is a decrease in soil fertility and also specifically because it destroys the organic fertilizers. So be it organic fertilizers or be it the natural decomposers or the microorganisms, so everything get burnt, everything is affected, and therefore soil fertility also decreases. Then it also leads to lowering of groundwater levels, so it also indirectly impacts the groundwater levels. Now health impact, it also has health impact, quite clear health impact, and especially during the pandemic times, during a pandemic which spreads through breathing and breathing the virus. So what happens is, air pollution weakens the lungs. We know that it decreases our immunity and it weakens our lungs. So therefore people become more prone to infection and being affected by coronavirus. Now the current status about stubble burning, we these are very important, I think, pointers where we can use it anywhere in stubble burning answers. What happened is, if you see the evolution in 2013, Punjab government was the first to ban stubble burning. Then subsequently in 2015, NGT itself, it imposed a ban on stubble burning in Haryana, Rajasthan, and Uttar Pradesh, and it also provided solutions like, so it banned happy cedar, and it told the farmers that what you can use is happy cedar, rotavator. Sorry, it banned stubble burning, but it gave solutions like happy cedar, rotavator, paddy straw chopper. So these are the technologies that are used as an alternate to stubble burning. Also, stubble burning, we should know it's an offense. It's a legal offense under Section 188 of IPC and Air Act of 1981. Then a case that we can quote here regarding air pollution, especially stubble burning, was Aditya Dubey versus Union of India case, which led to the formation of Madan B. Lokur committee. This committee um, specifically tried to come out with solutions and the existing problems and solutions regarding stubble burning. So this committee is specific to stubble burning issues. Also, this also encouraged Haryana government to set up an app. So this app traces if anywhere stubble burning is taking place. This app will uh, provide its geographical location. Now the topic talks also about PUSA, which is a new revolutionary technology. What it says is, first we should know that what other solutions already are existing and why PUSA is a revolutionary solution. So the existing solution taken up by Punjab and Haryana is they're setting up custom hiring centers. What happens at these centers is, the farmers can go to these centers and get technologies on rent. These technologies are nothing but technologies that we saw here, such as happy cedar, rotavator, or paddy straw chopper. So they can get these technologies, these machines on rent, and they can, on very subsidized rate, very less rates, and they can use them to chop off their stubble rather than burning it. Also, an important statistic is was found that the use of the applications regarding stubble burning and the use of happy cedar ensured that the agricultural productivity increased by 10 to 15%. And then finally we talk about the PUSA decomposer, which is a new technology and a revolutionary one as being predicted. It is developed by Indian Agricultural Research Institute, IARI. And what really this technology is, these are nothing but a set of 4 tablets. These tablets, they contain fungal strains. What they can do is, when the farmers, they can take the PUSA decomposer tablets, they can add it with their, first they can chop off their stubble, then they can add the PUSA decomposer tablets in it, and then they can mix this PUSA decomposer and the chopped off stubble with the soil. What will happen is, this will lead to faster decomposition. So the stubble along with the decomposer tablets within the soil will get decomposed at a very fast rate. And why revolutionary? Simply because it eliminates the two very negative impacts of stubble burning, which are It will help us reduce air pollution and increase soil fertility. So this is all. These are the two important editorials for from UPSC point of view. And also, lastly, please don't forget to remember that the art and science of asking questions is the source of all knowledge. Thank you.